Welcome to the Sleeping Times channel. Tonight we bring you a story that will transport you directly to the heart of the medieval human experience, where you will discover how entire communities found strength and beauty even when surrounded by limitations. Imagine a time where every drop of water was as precious as gold, where neighbors became family out of the need to survive together, where scarcity revealed the extraordinary ability to create beauty from the simple. What if I told you that before modern abundance, people transformed every challenge into an opportunity to strengthen bonds and find deep meaning in daily life? Discover how medieval humanity turned limitations into timeless lessons about community, creativity, and resilience. If you enjoy stories that move you and make you reflect, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and hit the bell icon. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from and tell me, have you ever experienced valuing every small moment of the day? Are you ready for this journey through a complete medieval day? Then make yourself comfortable, turn off the lights if you want a more immersive experience, and prepare to discover how our ancestors transformed simplicity into wisdom. The first golden ray of sun gently touches the grey stones of the ramparts, slowly awakening the besieged city. The towers rise majestically against the morning sky, their silhouettes etched like silent guardians who watched through the night. The fresh morning air carries the scent of wood burning in hearths that never completely die out, mingled with the damp smell of ancient stones that hold centuries of stories. In the stone and timber houses built close together as if seeking mutual protection, families slowly begin to stir. Small windows protected by dark wooden shutters open one by one, revealing tired but determined faces. The soft sound of bare feet on stone floors echoes through the narrow streets, creating a morning symphony that has repeated for months ever since the siege began. Chimneys begin to release thin columns of white smoke, signaling that families are lighting their stoves with carefully rationed firewood. Every piece of wood is precious now, and people have learned to cook with the bare minimum, utilizing every ember until it turns to ash. The warmth that spreads through the houses brings a sense of home, even in such difficult times. The cathedral bells begin to chime softly, marking the first hours of the day with their familiar and comforting melody. This sound, echoing through the stone streets and reflecting off the building's walls, serves as a reminder that life goes on, that there is hope even in the darkest moments. The chimes spread through the city like invisible waves, touching the heart of every inhabitant. In the watchtowers, guards who spent the night observing the horizon begin to be replaced by their rested companions. Their eyes, accustomed to the darkness, now slowly adapt to the growing daylight. They know every stone of the path leading to the ramparts, every step of the spiral staircases ascending to the towers, every view that unfolds from the top of the fortifications. The central market, a square of stones polished by time and generations of footsteps, begins to show signs of life. Although goods are scarce, merchants still set up their wooden stalls, ready to trade the little they have. Their voices, though softer than in times of abundance, still carry the hope of a new day, of a new opportunity to sustain their families. Children, with their natural ability to find joy even in the most difficult circumstances, begin to play in the streets with simple toys made of wood and fabric. Their crystalline laughter echoes among the houses, reminding everyone that innocence and joy can flourish even when surrounded by walls. They run barefoot over the smooth stones, their small feet knowing every irregularity of the path. Artisans open their workshops, small spaces where creativity and skill transform into useful and beautiful objects. The rhythmic sound of hammers on metal, the soft creak of potter's wheels, the whisper of needles passing through fabric. All these sounds blend, creating a melody of work and dedication. Even with limited resources, they continue to create, keeping alive the traditions of their ancestors. Women gather at the city's wells and fountains, wooden buckets in hand, to fetch the precious water that sustains life within the walls. Their conversations flow like the water itself, exchanging news, recipes adapted to difficult times, words of encouragement. These moments of gathering strengthen community bonds, creating an invisible network of mutual support. Slowly, the besieged city fully awakens, like a living organism that adapts and persists. Each inhabitant knows their role in this daily dance of survival, each contributing their part to keep hope alive. The day that begins carries with it the promise that together they can face any challenge that arises beyond the walls. The city's central fountain, carved from stone centuries ago by master artisans, becomes the pulsating heart of the morning. Its circular basin, adorned with reliefs of leaves and flowers that time had softened but not erased, reflects the golden light of the rising sun like a liquid mirror. The sound of running water, though weaker than in times of abundance, still offers its soothing melody, a constant whisper that calms anxious hearts. The women approach in small groups, their long wool and linen dresses gently brushing against the stone ground. Each carries carefully molded ceramic jars, some decorated with simple but elegant patterns, others plain and functional. These vessels, passed from mother to daughter through generations, hold not only water but also memories of more prosperous times and the hope that they will return. The ritual of fetching water has transformed into something almost sacred. Every drop is measured, every jar filled with mathematical precision. Experienced hands know exactly how much each family needs to get through the day. Water for cooking the morning porridge, for washing the children's faces, for preparing the herbal infusions that warm body and soul. There is no waste. Every movement is calculated and respectful. Conversations flow in low, melodious tones, as if the words themselves were precious and not to be wasted. They speak of dreams from the night before, of small joys found in the past day, of creative recipes that transform simple ingredients into nutritious meals. Their voices mingle with the sound of the water, creating a morning symphony of femininity and strength. The younger children accompany their mothers, their large, curious eyes observing every gesture, unknowingly learning the rituals they will one day perform themselves. Some carry small wooden containers, feeling important for contributing to the family task. Their small, careful steps on the damp stones echo like tiny morning blessings. The reflections in the water dance softly, creating hypnotic patterns that calm the mind. The women sometimes pause for a moment, contemplating these ripples that seem to carry messages of hope. The liquid surface reflects not only their faces, but also the blue sky above, reminding them that a world exists beyond the walls, a future that awaits them. The aroma of fresh water blends with the natural scents of herbs growing around the fountain. Basil, rosemary, and lavender, carefully planted in small stone beds, release their fragrances when touched by the morning breeze. These familiar scents bring comfort and normalcy to a daily life that has become extraordinary due to circumstances. Some older women, their hands marked by time and labor, share ancient stories while waiting their turn at the fountain. They speak of how the city was before the siege, of festivals and celebrations, of times when water flowed abundantly and worries were different. Their words paint pictures of memory that nourish the hope that those days will return. The sun, now higher, gently warms the stones around the fountain, creating small pools of warmth where children like to sit. These moments of natural warmth are cherished, as firewood for the hearths must be conserved. The warmth of the sun-heated stones becomes a free gift from nature, a small generosity in times of scarcity. Gradually, the women return to their homes, their full jars skillfully balanced on their heads or carefully carried in their hands. Their steps are measured and graceful, every movement calculated not to waste a single drop of the precious liquid. The fountain returns to silence, guarding its waters for the next group to come, maintaining its eternal rhythm of giving and receiving, of sustaining life within the protective walls. The city's bakery, a low stone building with thick walls that retain heat, awakens with the unmistakable aroma of bread being prepared. The stone oven, built by ancestors with techniques passed down through generations, radiates a comforting warmth that spreads throughout the entire space. Its inner walls, darkened by years of use, hold the secret of creating the most basic and essential food for human life. The baker, a man with strong, calloused hands, works the dough with rhythmic and precise movements. Every grain of wheat is now precious, every handful of flour measured with the precision of a goldsmith. His hands know the exact texture the dough should have, the perfect elasticity that will transform simple ingredients into sustenance for dozens of families. The sweat on his brow glistens in the firelight, a testament to his dedicated work. The dough rests in polished wooden bowls covered with white linen cloths like clouds. During this waiting time, it slowly rises as if breathing a life of its own. The process cannot be rushed. Nature has its own rhythm, and even in times of siege, it maintains its immutable laws. This forced patience teaches valuable lessons about accepting the time needed for good things to happen. The fire in the oven gently crackles, fueled by carefully selected firewood. Each piece of wood is chosen not only for its ability to burn, but also for the aroma it will release, subtly influencing the bread's final taste. The baker knows every type of wood, knows which produces the most consistent heat, which adds smoky notes to the bread, which burns more slowly. The first batches begin to take shape, the small, dense loaves that have become the norm during the siege. Although smaller than the abundant breads of past times, they carry the same dedication, the same love transformed into food. Their golden crusts shine like small suns, promising warmth and nourishment to those who consume them. The steam escaping from the oven carries aromas that awaken deep and primal memories. It is the smell of civilization, of humanity transforming wild grains into civilized food. This aroma travels through the narrow streets, entering through open windows, announcing that the day has truly begun, that sustenance is available for another day of resistance. People begin to form an orderly line in front of the bakery, each carrying their ration of flour or grains to be transformed into bread. There is no rush or anxiety. Everyone knows that there will be enough for each family, that the baker will fairly divide the available resources. This mutual trust strengthens community bonds, creating an invisible but powerful support network. Children watch, fascinated the process of bread creation, their eyes shining with the magic of seeing simple ingredients transform into food. Some receive small pieces of raw dough to play with, molding imaginary shapes while unknowingly learning the fundamentals of the art of baking. These moments of informal learning ensure that traditions will remain alive. The heat of the oven warms not only the bread, but also the hearts of all who approach. On cold days, the bakery becomes a natural gathering point where people warm themselves both physically and emotionally. Conversations flow naturally, stories are shared, plans are made, hopes are renewed in the comforting warmth of the ancestral oven. When the first loaves are ready, the baker carefully removes them with a long wooden peel, his precise movements the result of years of practice. Each loaf is a small work of art, a promise fulfilled, a symbol that even in the most difficult times, humanity finds ways to nourish itself and prosper. The intense aroma released when the loaves come out of the oven is like a morning blessing, reminding everyone that there is always reason to hope. In the workshops scattered throughout the city, the skilled hands of artisans begin another day of creative and essential work. Each workshop is a small universe of specialization, where knowledge accumulated over generations transforms into useful and beautiful objects. The rhythmic sound of hammers, the whisper of needles passing through fabrics, the gentle creak of potters' wheels create a symphony of productivity that echoes through the stone streets. In the blacksmith's workshop, the forge fire glows like a pulsating heart, radiating warmth and orange light. Incandescent metal is shaped with millimeter precision, transforming into essential tools for survival. Knives for cutting food, needles for sewing clothes, small utensils that facilitate daily life. Each hammer blow is calculated, every movement of the blacksmith the result of years of learning and constant practice. The carpenter works with recovered and carefully preserved wood, his hands caressing each piece as if it were a treasure. He knows every type of wood, its resistance, its flexibility, its natural beauty. With simple but effective tools, he creates functional furniture, toys for children, containers for storing the few available foods. Every piece that leaves his hands carries not only functionality, but also beauty and care. In the seamstress's workshop, fabrics are transformed into warm and durable clothes. Every piece of cloth is utilized to the fullest. Nothing is wasted. Scraps become patches, old clothes are unpicked and rebuilt into new pieces. Her agile hands dance over the fabric, creating small and precise stitches that ensure durability. The rhythmic sound of the needle passing through the fabric is almost meditative, calming both the worker and the observer. The potter molds the clay with fluid and hypnotic movements, his wet hands gliding over the spinning clay on the wheel. Each piece born under his fingers is unique, carrying the subtle marks of its manual creation. Water jars, food bowls, simple but elegant plates emerge from the earth as if they had always existed. The creation process is almost magical, transforming raw material into objects of utility and beauty. Children watch these creation processes fascinated, their eyes shining with the magic of seeing objects born from the skilled hands of artisans. Some are invited to try, their small hands guided by experienced masters. These moments of learning ensure that artisanal traditions will remain alive, passing from generation to generation as intangible treasures of humanity. The aroma of each workshop is unique and comforting. The smell of heated metal mixes with the scent of freshly worked wood, the earthy odor of damp clay, the clean aroma of washed fabrics. These smells spread through the streets, creating an atmosphere of productivity and creativity that lifts the spirits of all inhabitants of the besieged city. Artisans work not only to supply practical needs, but also to keep beauty alive in difficult times. Small decorative details are added to functional pieces, a flower carved into the handle of a knife, a delicate pattern embroidered on a simple garment, an elegant shape given to a common jar. These touches of beauty nourish the soul as much as bread nourishes the body. Exchanges between artisans create a network of interdependence that strengthens the entire community. The blacksmith needs the carpenter's tools, who in turn needs the seamstress's fabrics to line his furniture. This natural collaboration teaches valuable lessons about cooperation and solidarity, showing that together everyone is stronger and more capable. At the end of each created piece, there is a moment of silent satisfaction, an acknowledgement that something useful and beautiful has been brought into the world. These small daily victories accumulate, creating a sense of purpose and accomplishment that sustains the community's morale. Each object created is a declaration that life continues, that humanity persists, that there is always hope in the work of dedicated hands. The market square, with its stones polished by centuries of footsteps and trade, transforms into a silent theatre of essential exchanges. The wooden stalls, though less laden than in times of abundance, still display the available treasures: small portions of golden grains, carefully dried medicinal herbs, artisanal objects created with love and necessity. Each item displayed represents hours of work, care, and hope transformed into something tangible and useful. The merchants speak in low, respectful tones, their voices carrying the wisdom of those who have learned to value every small transaction. There are no shouts or shrill calls. Instead, intimate conversations develop between seller and buyer, creating human connections that go beyond simple commercial exchange. Each negotiation is a delicate dance of needs, possibilities, and mutual understanding. Medicinal herbs occupy a special place in the market, their subtle fragrances mingling in the morning air. Chamomile to calm nerves, rosemary to strengthen memory, lavender to promote restful sleep. Each plant carries centuries of knowledge about healing and well-being. Older women, guardians of this ancestral knowledge, share recipes and advice with those who approach their stalls. Small objects of art and utility share space on the stalls: cloth dolls for children, hand-carved wooden spoons, small ceramic pots decorated with simple but elegant patterns. Each piece tells a story, carries the personal mark of its creator, represents hours of dedicated work transformed into functional beauty. These objects are not just merchandise, they are extensions of their creators' souls. Exchanges occur with both coins and bartering, creating a flexible economy that adapts to the needs of the moment. A jar of honey might be traded for fabric, a tool for grains, knowledge for objects. This flexibility demonstrates the human capacity to find creative solutions even in the most challenging circumstances, maintaining the vital flow of commerce and cooperation. Children circulate through the market with curious and respectful eyes, unknowingly learning the complexities of economic life. They observe negotiations, listen to conversations, absorb knowledge they will one day use in their own lives. Some carry small objects to trade, feeling important for participating in the community's commercial life. The sun, filtering through the gaps between buildings, creates patterns of light and shadow that dance over the stalls and merchandise. These plays of light enhance the natural beauty of the displayed objects, making simple grains shine like jewels, common fabrics appear like precious silk. Natural light becomes a silent ally of the merchants, valuing their products at no cost. Conversations about recipes and preservation techniques flow naturally among people, transforming the market into an informal university of practical knowledge. How to make food last longer, how to prepare homemade remedies, how to mend broken objects. This information is shared generously, creating a living library of community wisdom. Occasional musicians appear with simple instruments, offering soft melodies in exchange for small contributions. Their songs, played on wooden flutes or small harps, add an emotional dimension to the commercial environment. Music flows between the stalls like an invisible river, connecting hearts and lifting spirits, reminding everyone that beauty and art are as essential as bread and water. Gradually, as the sun rises higher in the sky, the market's activity diminishes, but the sense of community remains. People return to their homes, carrying not only the acquired objects, but also renewed human connections, shared stories, the certainty that they are part of something larger than themselves. The market closes its morning activities, but its spirit of cooperation and hope continues to pulse in the heart of the besieged city. The sun reaches its highest point in the sky, bathing the besieged city with a warm, golden light that transforms every stone into a small source of heat. Shadows retreat to the feet of buildings, creating small, cool refuges where people gather to rest and contemplate. This is the quietest moment of the day, when activity naturally slows down, and the city breathes at a slower, more meditative pace. In the stone houses, families gather around simple wooden tables to share the main meal of the day. The dishes are modest but prepared with love. Thick soups made with grains and vegetables, bread still warm from the morning bakery, herbal infusions that warm the body and calm the mind. Each mouthful is savored slowly, appreciated not only for its taste, but for the gratitude of having food to sustain another day. The aroma of meals spreads through the narrow streets, mingling in an olfactory symphony that speaks of home, family, and continuity. Each house contributes its own note to this composition: the smell of sautéed garlic, the fragrance of fresh herbs, the comforting aroma of warm bread. These familiar scents create an atmosphere of normalcy and comfort that nourishes the soul as much as food nourishes the body. On the ramparts, the guards take advantage of this moment of calm to contemplate the landscape stretching beyond the fortifications. Their eyes, trained to detect suspicious movements, now allow themselves to appreciate the natural beauty that persists even in times of conflict. The green of distant trees, the cloudless blue sky, the graceful flight of birds that know no borders or sieges. The children, after their meal, find shaded nooks to play quietly with their simple toys. Cloth dolls come alive in their imaginations. Wooden soldiers fight imaginary battles. Pebbles transform into precious treasures. Their ability to find magic in simplicity teaches adults valuable lessons about joy and creativity, even in the most limited circumstances. The elderly gather in small groups under the trees growing in the central square, their low voices sharing memories of past times and accumulated wisdom. They speak of how the city was before the siege, of ancient traditions, of lessons learned over entire lifetimes. Their words are like seeds planted in younger minds, ensuring that knowledge and culture remain alive. The midday heat warms the stones of the streets and buildings, creating small islands of comfort where people like to sit and rest. This natural warmth is appreciated and utilized as it saves the precious firewood that would be needed to heat the houses. Nature offers this free gift, and the community receives it with silent gratitude. In the workshops, artisans take a break from their work, using the moment to sharpen their tools, organize their materials, and plan their afternoon projects. This preparation time is as important as the work itself, ensuring that every subsequent movement is efficient and productive. The forced pause teaches the value of rest and reflection in the creative process. Some people use this quiet moment for prayer or personal meditation, finding in the stillness of midday a space to connect with something greater than themselves. Whether in the small stone chapel or in private corners of their homes, they seek spiritual strength to face the challenges yet to come. This inner search strengthens not only the individual but the entire community. The intense midday light reveals every detail of medieval architecture, the textures of hand-worked stones, the intricate patterns carved into house portals, the small flowers growing between cracks in the walls. This revelation of beauty hidden in everyday details reminds everyone that even in difficult times, life finds ways to express its beauty and persist with grace and dignity. As the sun begins its slow descent across the afternoon sky, the besieged city gains a new energy, softer and more contemplative than the morning's activity. Shadows begin to lengthen, creating geometric patterns on the stone streets that gradually shift like a natural sundial. This is the moment when voices rise in longer, deeper conversations, when there is time to share not only practical information, but also dreams, fears, and hopes. In their homes, women gather for manual tasks that can be done in groups: sewing, embroidering, spinning wool, preparing preserves with the few available ingredients. Their hands work automatically, freeing their minds for conversations that flow like tranquil rivers. They talk about their children, about recipes adapted to difficult times, about small joys found in the challenging daily routine. Men gather in smaller squares discussing defense strategies, sharing news that arrives from outside the walls, planning improvements to the fortifications. Their voices are low but determined, carrying the responsibility of protecting their families and their community. Even in the most serious conversations, there are moments of humor and camaraderie that relieve tension and strengthen the bonds of friendship. Older children begin to help with household chores, learning skills that will be essential in their future lives. They carefully observe how adults work, ask curious questions, try to imitate the movements they see. This informal but constant learning ensures that practical knowledge is naturally transmitted from generation to generation. In the city's library, a small stone building with high windows that allow natural light to enter, some people gather to read and study. The books handwritten on precious parchments contain not only practical knowledge but also stories, poems, and philosophies that nourish the spirit. Reading aloud creates moments of shared beauty that uplift all present. The city's musicians begin to appear with their instruments, preparing for the evening performances that have become a tradition during the siege. Wooden flutes, small harps, simple drums are carefully tuned. The music to come will not only be entertainment but a way to keep the community's culture and hope alive. In the watchtowers, the afternoon guards take their posts, their fresh eyes scanning the horizon for any change in the siege situation. They know every tree, every stone, every shadow of the surrounding landscape. Their constant vigilance allows the rest of the city to live with relative tranquility, knowing they are protected by watchful eyes and dedicated hearts. The artisans' workshops gain new life in the afternoon, with the softer light being ideal for tasks requiring visual precision. The goldsmith takes advantage of this light to work on small jewels, the scribe to copy important texts, the painter to add delicate details to his works. Each profession finds its ideal moment in the afternoon to create beauty and functionality. The small and carefully maintained gardens within the city receive special attention at this time. Medicinal herbs are harvested, small vegetables are tended, flowers are watered with precious water. These green spaces, though small, bring color and life to the stone environment, reminding everyone of nature's ability to thrive, even under the most limited conditions. Afternoon conversations have a different tone than morning ones. They are more reflective, deeper, touching on themes beyond immediate needs. People talk about the future, about what life will be like when the siege ends, about the dreams they keep alive during difficult times. These conversations fuel hope and strengthen the determination to resist until better days arrive. The sun begins its final descent towards the horizon, painting the sky with soft hues of gold, pink, and orange that reflect on the stones of the ramparts and buildings. This is the most beautiful hour of the day in the besieged city, when natural light creates an almost magical atmosphere that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Shadows lengthen dramatically, creating contrasts that highlight every detail of the medieval architecture. Families begin to gather in their homes for the evening meal, a sacred moment of togetherness and gratitude. Tables are set with care, even if the dishes are simple and the utensils basic. Every object is treated with respect. Every place at the table is valued. The food, though modest, is served with love and received with genuine appreciation for another day of sustenance. Candles begin to be lit one by one, their small but constant flames creating circles of golden light that push back the growing shadows. The aroma of beeswax mixes with the smells of food, creating an atmosphere of warmth and intimacy. Each lit candle is a small act of faith, a declaration that light will always overcome darkness. In the streets, people walk more slowly, savoring the last moments of natural daylight. Their footsteps echo softly on the stones, creating an urban symphony that speaks of life, movement, and continuity. Conversations are quieter, more intimate, as if twilight invites reflection and silent contemplation. The cathedral bells chime softly, marking the official end of the workday and the beginning of the period of rest and reflection. Their tolls spread through the city like sound waves that touch every heart, reminding everyone of the passage of time and the importance of valuing every moment lived. The sound echoes among the buildings, creating a reverberation that seems to embrace the entire community. In the windows of houses, small lights begin to appear, creating a dotted pattern of hope against the darkened background of the buildings. Each illuminated window represents a family gathered, a warm home, a continuity of human life that persists despite all difficulties. These lights become beacons of humanity in the urban landscape. The city's artists take advantage of this special twilight light to create their most inspired works. Painters capture the golden tones on the walls. Poets find words that express the melancholic beauty of the moment. Musicians compose melodies that echo the evening serenity. Art flourishes in these transitional moments when natural beauty inspires human creativity. Children are called indoors, their laughter and play gradually giving way to the growing silence of the approaching night. They carry with them the memories of the day, discoveries made, lessons learned, joys shared. Their bright eyes reflect the golden light of twilight, holding images they will take into their dreams. The guards on the ramparts prepare for the night vigil, their eyes gradually adapting to the diminishing light. They know every sound of the city at dusk, every shadow that forms, every normal movement of life that quiets down. Their vigilant presence allows everyone else to sleep in peace, knowing they are protected by dedicated sentinels. Twilight brings with it a sense of completeness, of another day lived with dignity and purpose. People feel gratitude for the small daily miracles, the shared bread, the clean water, the roof over their heads, the company of their loved ones. This silent gratitude strengthens hearts and prepares minds for the restorative rest that will come with the night. As darkness gently settles over the besieged city, small groups of musicians emerge from the shadows like nocturnal flowers that bloom only when the sun departs. They carry simple but precisely tuned instruments, polished wooden flutes, small harps with gut strings, drums made with carefully prepared hides. Their faces, illuminated by the golden light of candles and torches, glow with the anticipation of sharing beauty through music. The central square transforms into a natural amphitheater with people sitting on the edges of fountains, on the steps of buildings, on small stone benches scattered throughout the space. There is no formal stage. The musicians simply position themselves in the center, creating an intimate circle where artists and audience connect directly. The physical proximity intensifies the emotional experience, making every note played resonate not only in the ears but in the hearts. The first melodies flow softly through the night air, beginning with traditional songs that everyone knows and can mentally follow. The notes dance between the stone buildings, creating soft echoes that multiply the music and make it seem to come from all directions at once. This natural reverberation transforms the entire city into a large resonance chamber, amplifying the beauty of the simple melodies. Voices gradually join the instruments, starting with low murmurs that grow in confidence and volume. These are not professionally trained voices, but they carry something more precious, authenticity and genuine emotion. Each person contributes their own note to the collective harmony, creating a human symphony that speaks of unity, hope, and shared resilience. Children, even those who should already be asleep, stretch out at windows to listen to the music floating through the streets. Their eyes shine with fascination as they watch the musicians, absorbing not only the melodies, but also the magic of seeing adults creating beauty together. Some clap silently, others sway gently to the rhythm, all participating in their own way in the nocturnal celebration. The chosen songs speak of universal themes: love, hope, longing, courage. There are no lyrics that directly mention the siege or current difficulties, but everyone understands the subliminal messages of resistance and faith. Music becomes a secret language that allows feelings to be expressed that would be difficult to verbalize directly, creating a collective catharsis that relieves accumulated tensions. Between songs, there are moments of contemplative silence where only the sound of the wind between the buildings and the distant crackle of torches can be heard. These intervals are not empty but full of meaning, allowing previous melodies to echo in memory and settle in hearts. Silence becomes part of the performance, as important as the musical notes. Some musicians improvise instrumental solos, their hands dancing over strings or breaths, creating melodies that are born in the moment and will never be repeated in exactly the same way. This spontaneity adds an element of magic to the performance, reminding everyone that true art cannot be completely controlled or predicted, but must flow naturally from the heart and soul. Older people close their eyes and let themselves be carried away by the melodies, their minds traveling to memories of happier times, of past festivals, of moments of pure joy. Music becomes an emotional time machine, transporting them beyond the physical limitations of the present and connecting them with the continuity of human experience through the centuries. Gradually, as the night progresses, the music becomes softer and more contemplative, naturally preparing the transition to sleep. The last melodies float through the air like lullabies for an entire city, calming hearts, quieting minds, preparing everyone for the restorative rest that will allow them to face a new day with renewed energy and strengthened hope. Night fully settles over the besieged city, enveloping it in a cloak of darkness, punctuated only by the small lights shining in windows like earthly stars. The silence that spreads through the streets is not empty, but full of dormant life, of dreams beginning to form, of hearts beating at a tranquil pace. This is the most intimate moment of the day, when the community retreats for the rest that will restore its strength for another day of resistance and hope. In the stone houses, families prepare for sleep with simple but meaningful rituals. Children are tucked into straw beds covered with soft fabrics, their little heads resting on small pillows made with maternal love. Mothers whisper words of affection, tell brief stories that calm nocturnal fears, sing lullabies that have been passed down through generations as family musical treasures. Candles are extinguished one by one, each flame's demise marking a house's transition from wakefulness to repose. The darkness that settles is not frightening but comforting, like a gentle embrace that invites complete relaxation. The residual aroma of wax still lingers in the air, mixing with the familiar scents of each home: wood, clean fabrics, remnants of the evening meal. On the ramparts, the night guards take their posts with silent seriousness, their eyes gradually adapting to the darkness to better watch the city's surroundings. They walk with measured steps on the fortification's stones, their movements creating a comforting rhythm that speaks of constant protection. Their vigilant presences allow everyone else to sleep in peace, knowing they are safe under the care of dedicated sentinels. The night wind whispers between the buildings, carrying with it aromas of nature growing beyond the walls: wildflowers, damp earth, leaves dancing on distant trees. These natural scents mix with the city's urban aromas, creating a unique fragrance that speaks of life persisting, of nature continuing its eternal cycle even in times of human conflict. In the silent workshops, tools rest neatly, waiting for the skilled hands that will use them again with the sunrise. Every hammer, every needle, every brush holds the memory of the day's work, the creations that were born, the beauty that was added to the world. These simple objects become symbols of human continuity, of the ability to create and build, even in the most challenging circumstances. Dreams begin to visit the sleeping inhabitants, bringing visions of better times, of future abundance, of peace to come. In these dream worlds, the siege's limitations disappear, families are reunited whole, markets overflow with goods, laughter echoes freely through the streets. Dreams become temporary refuges where hope can flourish without restrictions. Small nocturnal sounds create a soft symphony that cradles the city's sleep. The distant crackle of a still-burning hearth, the whisper of the wind between the stones, the almost imperceptible sound of a community's collective breathing at rest. These noises do not disturb the silence but enrich it, creating a soundscape that speaks of life, continuity, and temporary peace. The stars shine brightly in the clear sky above the city, their ancient lights witnessing another night of human resistance. They have seen empires rise and fall, cities built and destroyed, but they have also always seen humanity's capacity to persist, to find beauty even in adversity, to keep the flame of hope alive even on the darkest nights. The moon, in its current phase, bathes the city with a soft, silver light that transforms the stones into luminous and mysterious surfaces. Its constant presence in the sky reminds everyone, even those sleeping, that larger cycles are at work, that current difficulties are temporary, that just as the moon waxes and wanes, human circumstances also change and transform into something new and better. The protective silence of the night embraces every inhabitant of the besieged city, offering not only physical rest but also spiritual renewal. It is in this moment of absolute quiet that inner strength is reconstituted, determination is strengthened, and hope is renewed to face any challenge that tomorrow may bring. The city sleeps, but its soul remains awake, guarding dreams of freedom and better days that will surely come. As we contemplate this full day in the life of a besieged medieval city, we are touched by the extraordinary human capacity to find beauty, purpose, and hope even in the most challenging circumstances. Every moment described, from the golden awakening of the ramparts to the protective silence of the night, reveals profound aspects of human nature that transcend eras and specific situations. The precious water shared at the central fountain teaches us about the importance of valuing basic resources that we often take for granted in our modern lives. Just as those medieval women measured every drop with reverence, perhaps we should reflect on our own relationship with life's essential elements: clean water, nutritious food, safe shelter, and most importantly, the company of people we care about. The bread created with love and dedication by the baker reminds us that work done with purpose and care nourishes not only the body, but also the soul of an entire community. In our times of mass production and accelerated consumption, there is a valuable lesson about the satisfaction that comes from creating something with one's own hands, from contributing directly to the well-being of others, from finding meaning in daily work. The skilled hands of the artisans show us that creativity and beauty are not dispensable luxuries in difficult times, but fundamental needs of the human spirit. Even when resources are scarce, there is always room to add a touch of elegance, a decorative detail, a moment of beauty that elevates the human experience beyond mere survival. The Market of Whispers reveals the importance of genuine human connections, meaningful conversations, exchanges that go beyond the material. In our digital age, where many interactions happen through screens, there is something deeply comforting in the image of people meeting face to face, sharing stories, building relationships based on mutual trust and shared need. The nocturnal music echoing through the stone streets teaches us that art and culture are not superfluous ornaments of civilization, but essential elements that nourish the human soul and strengthen community bonds. Even or especially in times of difficulty, we need moments of shared beauty that remind us of our common humanity and our ability to create joy together. Perhaps the most powerful lesson from this journey through a medieval day is the understanding that true wealth does not lie in material abundance, but in the quality of our relationships, the depth of our sense of purpose, the strength of our community. Those inhabitants of the besieged city, with their limited resources and constant challenges, possessed something that is often lacking in our modern society, a profound sense of interdependence and mutual responsibility. In our times of growing individualism and superficial connections, we can learn much from how that medieval community faced adversity together, shared scarce resources with generosity, found strength in unity, and beauty in simplicity. They show us that it is possible to maintain human dignity, creativity, and hope even when surrounded by seemingly insurmountable limitations. May we carry with us, in our own daily challenges, a little of the wisdom of those medieval inhabitants, the patience to accept what we cannot change, the creativity to transform limitations into opportunities, the generosity to share what we have, and the unwavering faith that together we can overcome any siege that life imposes on us.